Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Diagnosis Demo. It's been a while since we've done one of these, but I'm really excited about this one. If you've been reading my blog series around contextual CDPs, this fits right into that. And I was triggered by scrolling on LinkedIn. I don't do that on Instagram anymore. LinkedIn is the place for me to doom scroll. But I came across this awesome announcement that Tealium has finally started experimenting or actually is working with MCPs. I reached out to Tealium and asked, hey, I'd like to learn a little bit more. Can we jump into a demo? And they've been so as gracious as they are. They've said yes. And right now I'm on the call with BJ Allmon and Khetan, both from Tealium. And let's talk MCPs. Guys, super welcome to this episode. I can't explain in words how excited I am about the developments around MCPs in general. But when I saw your announcement, I was like, wow, yeah, this fits right in. And the first conversation that we had about planning this little episode really got me excited. So before we start, can you guys quickly explain yourselves? Sorry. Introduce yourselves.
Yeah, thank you, Matthew. My name is Khetan. I'm VP of Product Marketing at Tealium. I've been here 6 years, and before this, my previous role was head of product, actually. So very much live in both camps, and I'm very excited to share this with you. You know, ever since BJ took over the reins of our AI product team, the storytelling has just up-leveled significantly. The vision has gone through the roof. So we're very excited to share this with you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no, super welcome. BJ, how about you?
Yeah, my name's BJ Allman. Sav alluded to. I'm product for AI at Tealium. I've been in product for 25 years. I often say, hence the Gandalf beard. But all the changes, all the protocols, MCP, A2A, TCP/IP, fill in the blank. DDoS. I've been through it all.
I don't even want to ask which of those projects gave you the most gray hairs, but yeah, welcome to the episode today. And like I said earlier, super excited to jump into this MCPs. But before we start MCPs, I take it from the people who are going to be watching this that they have some idea of what MCP is, but can we quickly jump into, especially from Tealium's perspective, what MCPs are and how do they fit into the Martech ecosystem?
Yeah, so MCP is, Anthropic. It was built by Anthropic from a standards perspective. So it's an open standard protocol. There's lots of open standards out there, frameworks, things like that. This is a protocol. It's a way to communicate. Protocols are always a way to communicate or transport data back and forth, typically. And so Anthropic kind of calls it the USB for AI apps to the USB-C, sorry, for AI.
I was just about to say, if it's USB-A, you need to wonder.
Yes, the distinguisher. Hopefully you're getting it right every time. But they consider it like the USB-C of like AI apps to data services applications. So just like USB-C, I have my monitor hooked up. I have some headphones over there I'm not using, keyboard, all those things, whatever. That is basically the goal of MCP here is to provide access to things that AI doesn't have natively. In other words, like an LLM, for instance. You can kind of see a snapshot of that if you click like Deep Study or Think or whatever the buttons are for GPT-4 or whichever GPT you're using online right now, Claude. Those are kind of activating specific tools like web search. Maybe you're getting real-time data.
You're extending the functionality, as it were.
That's right.
Yeah, and one of the big conversations we've had, at least for me, who's not a developer mind like BJ, since last year, since we've been talking about AI and RAG, we've been talking about context. And it's so important for these models to understand more about the person asking the prompt if you want to personalize something back, or if you're trying to give a certain experience, what you know from the session, but you have all this other historical information about that visitor in your ecosystem, and that context coming back to the model, that was really the holy grail. Even last year, that's all we were talking about. And so I think when Anthropic came at this from a standardization point of view, everybody felt it was the right protocol at the right time for the right problem. And I think context is going to be one of the words we hear with regards to AI and personalization for a long time.
Yeah. And to kind of act as if I was a fly on the wall in the development offices of Tealium, what was the process going through your minds, or what did that process look like to come up with ways on how to fit an MCP into Tealium's ecosystem? Tealium exists out of various kind of solutions. Personally, I've worked most with event stream, audience stream, IQ, but from a higher level, how do you determine, or how do you kind of brainstorm where this MCP will benefit your customers and expand the functionality of your already existing platform?
Well, we have definitely things on the roadmap and things that we're already building right now that we have in production that we're building upon, like our AI assistant. That's CX focused. It's all about the customer experience and helping them. But for instance, maybe just from a knowledge base perspective, MCP would be a great mechanism or protocol to be able to access the one-to-many things. Maybe we have our docs.tealium knowledge base, and right now we're just doing a direct hit to that, where really that could be a tool for one-to-many apps.
Yeah.
And that packaging it up like that is very, very useful. But we could also have that for fresh desk tickets. And, so now our AI assistant now has the availability to answer questions like, well, what are my open fresh desk ticket status? Or things like that. So that's one place is obviously.
And just to highlight that, that would be more from the customer's own stack, right? It's not your Freshdesk account at Tealium, but it's from the customer stack that they'll be able to access this information on other platforms to kind of get the full picture, to maybe make a decision for something.
So actually, it could be both, right? So inside of Tealium, we have our AI assistant user interface that needs access to multiple data sources. And so we can employ MCP internally for our own applications and features in our product. But then also, because those are tools, we can plan to host, for instance, a tool server. That's a Tealium tool server that our customers have access to, all their APIs that they like to use and all that stuff that's integrated in their app. Now they can employ that for their AI stack. Right. And it's way easier. They can even use the tools for everyday apps that are just, not AI apps, but have access to these agents and tools to be able to solve problems that they need to solve with those tools. So it's a big step.
If we were to take just one step above this also, what's becoming very clear is, AI is showing up on your device, AI is showing up in the edge, AI is showing up in channel, and of course it's running in your cloud warehouse. The reality is we all finished this goal of centralizing our data in one place. That has happened, right? But now AI shows up all over my ecosystem, and suddenly when the AI model is running, I need to go get data points from all over the ecosystem to feed that prompt, especially in Gen AI, right? Next best action happens at a batch level maybe, but Gen AI is happening at the individual level. So now, since last year, we've been having this conversation that the Gen AI specifically wants to know very specific things based on the prompt. How do I make sure that model can have access to those data points exactly when it needs it? And so even last year, we were trying to feed from our visitor profile, how can we make specific data points available to the prompt exactly when it asks for it? And in fact, BJ's previous product was Moments API, which was very much designed for that. It was 30, 40 second millisecond response time to give you the context that you need. Now, when MCP comes along, it's kind of like the perfect Lego block to add to that API on the other side, that whoever is going to come to us we're going to be ready for you. So we've been saying since last year, we're not an AI company, but we are an AI enabler. And we are seeing all these protocols come. I'm sure there's going to be many more. And if it fits with our value prop, we want to enable you to have access to your data in Tealium. And then on the flip side, as we're adding agents for our users, now we want to go get data from outside when needed. So it was like perfect protocol at the perfect time, I think.
Yeah, AI companies are companies that are building LLMs and, doing a lot of that heavy lifting framework. And we're AI adjacent, right? So we're using AI, we're employing it for our customers for their benefit. We're using AI in our product in a few different areas and going to continue to grow just like everybody else. And then also we're empowering AI stacks with like real time data that you can get like that. So we'll definitely show that.
Yeah, no, we're definitely going to get into the demo. But a quick question though. That's I don't know if you guys watched Martech Day from Scott Brinker and Franz Remus around yesterday. It was clear that a lot of people didn't like the word agentic, but at least AI and AI agents will be playing or kind of moving to the center stage within Martech. But my question is, you just mentioned it. You guys are not an AI company, but an AI enabler. What role does Tealium see for itself in the future in helping companies make the most use out of these MCP features or AI in general within their MarTech stack? You guys are the enablers, but are you seeing like different levels of questions coming in from customers, or are you seeing customers who are not doing anything with AI, but you guys thinking, hey, this would be the perfect use case for it? How is that? What's that experience so far within Tealium?
BJ, let me go first. So the reality is, our CEO likes to say every CEO today has an AI mandate from the board. And the reality is, you mentioned the Martech Day. They have this quote at the beginning and the end of their report, which says, even if AI innovation stopped today, we still have 5 to 10 years of catch up, right? For the AI that's already come out. And 2 years ago when ChatGPT came, we were all like, oh, it's hallucinating, it's making mistakes, it's not there yet. And today, if you were to use it, everybody's saying, oh, it's 90% there, it's 95% there. So while AI has a long way to go, it's also much further along than it ever was, and it's much more usable. So
that's a good point.
What we are realizing is your data is your number one opportunity and your number one blocker to AI success, because the models are all the same, right? What is different is my prompt and my data. That's what's different. Otherwise, it's all the same model. So more and more our customers are coming to us and saying, we have the models, we've got that figured out, we've got our infrastructure stuff figured out. We need access to the right data at the right time. And we're finding that the data layer that sits in between your data warehouse and all your AI models, that's where you have orchestration, that's where you have rules, that's where you're balancing what's centralized versus what's federated. And it's becoming a real sort of land grab for how am I going to differentiate my AI output from your AI output. And I think data availability, data reliability, real-time profile information, context, all these things is what's fueling that. So that's our vision, right? That you have a lot of AI ambitions. We know that your data is your bottleneck. We want to solve that problem. And we're not trying to be your data source. We're trying to be your interoperability data connectivity layer in the middle. And what we're finding is it's all over the map. There are customers that are so far ahead that they are teaching us stuff as we talk to them. And then there are customers who are coming to us and saying, help us on the journey. And it's everything in between. We had a CDAO town hall yesterday. Actually, BJ and I were both in that. And universally, everybody was talking about the same problems. Centralizing governance, but then making sure it shows up in all the channels the right way. Talking about how most AI projects are not in production right now because there's so much overhead from regulation. There's so much stress about
legal aspects. Absolutely.
The risk is that one of the CDOs said that the risk has to outweigh the benefit, has to outweigh the risk for me to put it in production. And we're finding that the production AI success is coming from very narrow use cases. And Gen AI that's in production is usually inbound, meaning I write a summary and then the Gen AI will give me a label for it or a description for it. But outbound is still, people are being hesitant and definitely not in the regulated industries, right? So
Yeah,
sorry, I
I
kind
believe
of went all over.
I believe it was only of those surveyed in the report around 15.6%, somewhere around there, that were actually using it to make decisions or to make decisions based on intent. So we've still got a long way to go. A lot is still being used for summaries, transcripts, you name it. So not really the exciting stuff, but we're getting there. And I think, as you know, BJ, you mentioned that last time. This is a journey we're all on together right now. It's we're learning as we go, we're discovering as we go, and from what Sav's just mentioned with the feedback from your customers, that's what you're getting as well. How are you experiencing that?
Yeah, I think, well, I'm in a lot of customer demos now because they are very interesting.
Everyone wants AI. Yep.
Everybody wants to do it. Not a lot of people.
It's funny. Sorry that I just interrupt, but if you move the letters, the two first letters of your name left one, you get AI.
And also, my first name is actually Bernard. Nerd.
Oh, geez.
So
there you go.
It's fitting.
You're made for this job.
With the Gandalf beard, don't forget that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of excitement from our customer base, and I've been really busy kind of preparing stuff like this. And this podcast even is a reflection of that, I think, of just the excitement around what's going on right now. I think those narrow use cases that Sav talked about is absolutely spot on because of the lack of framework. And that had to do with lack of protocol, convention over configuration, right? How do we make this easy and consistent? So not everything's a snowflake of an application, and nothing to do with snowflake there.
No. The shape of a snowflake, and unique in every snowflake being unique.
And this is how we get the same data over here, And so MCP, A2A, all these are just a result of the natural progression of innovation, right? So where new innovation presses us to create new conventions, whether it be design patterns, application frameworks, UX patterns. I tell you, I mean, our UX team is like going to town on AI design patterns right now because it's a different, especially conversational applications. So there's just a different whole set of UX concerns, So in problems to solve, how do we represent this the best for our customers? How do we switch gears into a different agent without neck break on the client?
No, absolutely, and consistency can sometimes be a problem with AI interactions and getting consistent response, unique but consistently tailored or modeled responses back. But you mentioned A2A. I think that's a nice segue to start sharing some screens here for the people who want to kind of learn a little bit more. I suggested at the beginning of this recording that we quickly look at a model of how MCP would fit into an infrastructure. You brought up the A2A slide that Google has been sharing with their agent-to-agent protocol. Let's start there and dive in, and from there move on into the demo because my fingers are starting to twitch, and I want to see that demo. No, just kidding. But
absolutely. So I thought this was a great diagram based on what you were talking about. I just so happen to have a slide for that, and so this is great because it's from Google's A2A open source website that you can hit there, get their GitHub, just search it, you'll find it, top link. Anyway, so you have two different disparate agent stacks in this diagram. In A2A, agent to agent, its job is to kind of be the protocol for communicating between agent stacks. And that's not to be confused with MCP, which they did a shout out here for, which is for communicating between tools in AI stacks or agents. So agents access to direct databases, file systems, an email application. I don't know. There's
A
lots of
CDP. Yeah.
Tealium.
MCP would be a request. You get data back. And with A2A, I'm seeing it more as actual conversations between agents trying to solve a problem.
That's right. So it's like, hey, I'm in the marketing department. Finance has their agent stack for finance stuff, and I need access to that with my agent stack. And so we used A2A to bridge the gap so that because there's this outcome I need, this use case to solve, and, my agent's going to talk to their agents and they're going to have a conversation, and that's going to happen over that protocol. So yeah. And MCP's goal is all standardization around how to access
data
that's not necessarily available right away or real-time context. Not to say that.
And in the agentic future, like if I have a multi-agent situation, both protocols are going to be in use at all times, right? Like the agents will talk to each other with A2A, and then every agent will probably use multiple MCP connections to go get data that it needs. And in fact, I think you have another slide, right, BJ, we can get to later about how the MCP agent is using multiple MCPs. The next one, the diagram.
Oh no, I think I took
it out.
Okay. But yeah, that is an example of that. And so I think, it could be you could get away with just using MCP if you have a simple stack and you don't need to go out. You may just have two simple agent stacks that need to talk, and there's no MCP, maybe. Yeah. But you're using A2A. But it's definitely, I think this is telling that this, I think it's going to grow the adoption from an MCP perspective. This is really going to open up a lot of opportunities that we didn't have before. And I think this is where we're going to see from narrow use case to more robust use case.
Yeah. And I think that the vertical line is quite important just to highlight. I don't know why they put it in as such small writing, but it's cross-organizational and cross-technology. So it's it's just the level of creativity you can let loose on this is, I hate using the word infinite, but it's getting close to it because there are just so many ways to make this work for you, for a company, to solve your challenges.
That's right. And last year, so many of the CDP players started leaning heavily into the agentic force or agentic future, and everybody felt it was early. But this year, it feels much more real, and it feels achievable. It feels doable. I think, probably 6 months later, if we're having a podcast again, I think we're going to be looking at examples of actual agentic executions.
Yeah. We'll probably have agents performing this podcast among each other, and we'll just sit back and
that'll be wild, right?
It's not as popular because it's I will say there are some pop state channels out there that there's some software that builds pop songs and any kind of song. It could be country, anything. And I do have to agree that some of those songs are actually better than what's on the radio right now.
My daughter would disagree with you, though.
I've been a musician all my life, so and I have the Vox amp behind me here. But I have to say, AI is kicking butt right now with music stuff. I've been impressed.
Oh wow, yeah. All right, BJ, are you ready to?
I'm ready.
The live demo, well, not live demo. We can still edit, but let's get into the juicy stuff.
Yeah, I'll refresh this just so you kind of see what's going on here.
Can you explain what we're seeing here?
Yeah. Let me. Okay, so after refresh here, this is a fictitious site called Rick's Sporting Stuff. It's an online retailer. It's complete conversational retail. That's it. You can, it starts talking to you right away, and you can.
There's a word for Scrabble.
Yeah. You can, the amount of effort I put into the actual verbiage on this site is zero. So it's outside of the prompt engineering. So, wow. But what I would say is it does a pretty good job, coming up with deals. These are mostly only 10%. Every now and then, you'll see a 15%, something like that. But there's a couple things happening here. A few things. One, when I log in, in this case, I have a quick hack for a login. I'm just passing in a visitor ID, which I'm using an email, and this is associated to a Tealium user that I have in my Tealium instance. And what that does is right away it checks audiences and things like that. I do a direct call to Moments API immediately. And so when you see me refresh, you'll see this little guy down here pop up right away. That's how fast Moments just came back with that data on refresh.
It already recognized that you are a VIP member.
Yeah. And well, this is a non-VIP member. That's why it says 25% off.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no
Wrong
problem.
glasses.
Yeah, it's a little tiny, but you can kind of see it down here for signing up for VIP. Okay, as a VIP member. And it says, hey, we got some great deals here, but if you're interested in better deals, consider joining our VIP program. So part of the prompt engineering was having it say, hey, if they're not in the VIP audience, that's a Tealium audience.
Yeah.
Start to, have some conversation around that. And oh, by the way, here are the deal rules. So all the rules, deal logic, personalization is all done via the prompt engineering. So it's pretty fantastic in that way, because it's nice package. You don't need a lot of, crazy third-party plugins to like get campaigns and stuff like that. It's quite simple.
Wow.
So the next thing I'll show you is, one. So this direct call to get this little guy to show up was from a direct call to Moments API, and the thing is that is not making the conversation happen. Okay, that call. What's actually happening in the background over here is I'm getting two different tool results that the LLM is invoking.
Yep.
The LLM. So, last year we talked about like context stuffing. We were context stuffing everything. This year, you don't context stuff. The only thing you stuff are the tools to the LLM, and you have the LLM decide whether it needs the tool or not based on what's happening and whether it needs to invoke that call. So,
and looking at the right-hand side of the call, if you can scroll up a little bit, we see in the system role for current context, this is the information that it gets about the what it needs to do, I believe. You need to fetch visitor data, tool call with the visitor ID, and then with the visitor ID. And then it returns the tool result, which has the fetch visitor data. Oh, interesting. Okay. So, and this is the profile data based on the user's actual behavior over past sessions. And then it also gets an additional tool result from fetch products. Okay.
Yeah, I thought I could override it, but it didn't let me. Sometimes it'll let me see my profile.
Yeah, I've been testing with something similar too, and then I just have like a sidebar where I show all the contextual behind the scenes data. It's actually doing it now. Ah, okay.
Yeah, and I know BJ has mentioned Moments API a couple of times. BJ, do you want to just quickly share what Moments API is?
Yeah, Moments API is Tealium's flagship, blazingly fast API that allows our customers to build multiple endpoints for their data.
Yeah.
And be able to get that data consistently in real time. It could be written in real time, but they can definitely, whether it's at rest or it's being updated in real time, they can get that data back consistently under like 50 milliseconds.
I mean, our vision for that was to enable AI use cases, and then MCPs just come and put a cherry on top of that. But like, for example, you saw exactly how fast this came back, and this is all using those APIs.
Yeah. And now what you're seeing too is it fetched that data, but for the product data here, it didn't need to do another fetch. You notice that?
You're storing that.
Yeah, it has it. So I can also slice and dice, the product data. This is similar to what like RAG would do, or something like that, retrieval augmented generation, which is what we're kind of mocking out with the products data. It's just
Yeah.
tool is just a JSON file of mock products, and I'm just pulling from that. But it takes that data, and I can say, show me some men's apparel. Spell that right.
Yeah.
AI is pretty forgiving on that. So there, it did do a tool grab there.
Yeah, just for the purists, I just want to highlight this is a very basic solution. I mean, you can build this and scale this out to anything you want.
Right. This could be a call center. Yeah. Or
yeah,
there's all kinds of applications there.
add images, add product
That's
videos, and in the
Precisely.
results. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Like our demo was primarily to just show how easy and how powerful MCP can be when paired with the right data source. But we've not actually tried to show the unlimited potential. But it's pretty crazy. Like you can like BJ has been referencing multiple tools and multiple data sources. I think if you think about it, right, if I wanted to figure out which sports team you liked based on my profile and then get information about that sports team from some other API that was public, and then figure out from another live source what the current game was and show you all that in combination, I could do that now. And this is the power of these LLMs. It's insane, actually. I can't believe that it's already happened.
Well, the one thing that I'm worried about, and I don't know if you share this sentiment, it's more around where do you draw the line? I mean, our creativity is has no boundaries anymore. We can go everywhere, but how should companies approach this from a use case? It's not something to discuss now, because I think that's an endless discussion all by itself and very unique to companies' own situations. But I think a lot of companies need to start learning how to deal with this level of creativity. And as some of the terms that have been used, like guardrails, monitoring the responses, and not just doing it because you can. It really needs to drive value.
That last statement is the right nugget, Matthew. And in fact, Ben Evans in his latest newsletter, he talks about how you now need a way to have AI strategy so that you don't just do just because you can, because it's really the canvas is truly unlimited. And if you just did it because you could, you would waste time on so much stuff.
Yeah, or your next door neighbor's kid told you, it's a great idea that
Precisely. The shiny toy concept or problem is become a real thing now. It's really
even more. Martech as all by itself is already shiny still to a lot of companies, but this just exasperates it even more. But
I feel like you'll have more topics for your Martech therapy now. Real therapy needed.
I think I really need to buy that chair and have people come in and lay down and tell me their problems. But in the meantime, I see BJ's moved into a VIP account with some new changes to it.
That's right. So we moved into a VIP user. You can see here immediately. So this is the Moments API first page personalization up here for a VIP user. I thought, after the fact, I was like, I should have a little beast image for retaining, and membership and encouraging more, right? Like, so I thought about that too late.
like welcome VIP.
I liked the one for non-VIP users so much. I was like, shouldn't the VIP people have like the beast on their screen as well? So
nice subtle gold star is great enough. Just out of curiosity, how many data sources are connected to this MCP setup right now?
Yeah, so I'll show you just real quick. Well, not that, but this. Let me. Oh.
So this demo that BJ is sharing, it's already on GitHub, right? BJ, all the code?
You can go to github.com, BJ Allmon Tealium /MCP -chatbot -app and get to here. It's open source. It's under the MIT license. And so as you can see here, we have the source. We have the client, which is just a React JavaScript client.
Just the front end, yeah.
Yeah, your basic front end. I have an app TypeScript file. And then I have like my server side, And these are running separately. So, you can fire those up together. But they are different. They're running on different ports and everything. And you can download this code and use it. But here's my MCP folder right here. I built my own little specification. I was kind of inspired by the, I'm going to forget the site, Fast MCP or something like that. And I was vibe coding, and I vibed my way into, okay, this is becoming real now, and now I got to fix it. Ratchet, wrench it. And so I created 2 distinct servers, one for products, and this just goes and gets the products data and the Moments API server as well.
So Moments data API is doing the visitor data, and the other one is doing the product.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty simple. If we looked at it real quick, I'll just give you a quick glance,
sure.
I guess. So here's Moments. So we're importing my MCP server tool and tool interface. This is an MCP server class and a tool interface, and I'm creating an instance of that server class, a new MCP server, and it's going to be my Moments server. And what's really important here for servers is that, and I don't know if you've talked about this, Matthew, or not, but with MCP, the schema is really important, where you specify descriptions that are meaningful, that AI can reason with and understand, oh, these are the tools I should use for X, right?
To understand which tools it needs to communicate with.
Yeah. And that's a design. There's probably, it wouldn't surprise me if there's a framework or design pattern that'll make that easier and catch ambiguity or like noise that could cancel agents out, right? So
that's a good idea.
I know for anybody listening.
I expect just like prompt engineering is getting so fine tuned, probably context engineering is coming next, right? Or
description. Sav, it gets crazy. I mean, I just for transparency, I'm not a developer, but I've been diving into this using things like Cursor, and from what I've been learning, like there are these. There's one website with MCPs called Active Pieces that I tend to follow a little bit, but even with Cursor, there are now kind of how should I say this, libraries or plugins for Cursor or even VS Studio or a VS Code where you can build out rules. And there's also one, I thought it was task something, but what it does is that you can actually tell or ask, you need to instruct what you want to build, and it will build out a list of tasks that it needs to do in order to complete building whatever you requested. And it will actually, when it's going through the building process, go to this file where all it does is just list the tasks and the explanations behind, and it'll keep on going back to that, and in kind of a linear form, just work through that entire process. And it is mind-boggling, the details. But I think, as BJ said, also with those MCPs, just being able to get that description right. If you're writing yourself, you still haven't understood what the purpose around AI is. And if you have 6 MCP servers set up, use AI again to make sure you don't get that ambiguity between each other. It's
like conflict resolution in a way, like, hey, this description and even name of function conflicts with another, and I think there's an opportunity there maybe to build an agent for that.
Have the agent to have an agent to talk to another agent to build your agent app, and then
agents watching agents. So
I think even Scott Brinker was talking about that, about the hypertel that when you're looking at a lot of the Martech solutions right now, I found that one of the most interesting parts is that there's going to be such a surge, but we won't see it, of
he said millions
of homegrown self-built solutions and
point solutions.
Exactly. And that's what this is opening up as well, is you'll be able to mix and match. I don't want to say somebody's going to come in and build a new Tealium, but they're going to be able to drastically enhance these capabilities
for sure,
just with a single solution. And you don't need to go through an RFP, RFI process. You can really just kind of plug it in, test it out, and see what it can deliver. Yeah.
I mean, if you think about what happened to the content creator when YouTube came out, right?
Yep.
YouTube gave
Yes.
every creator in the world instant access to the rest of the world.
I
That
know
is
where
what
you're going.
AI is going to
Wow.
do with ideas, right? Like I feel app ideas in
Nail on the
everybody's
head.
brain.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's just
Yeah.
unlimited.
I have a friend, side note here, that he started a business called Tealium, and you can check it out online, but it's online, like it's basically it's all AI driven, and you earn street cred. So as a developer, so it's a developer portal where
Yeah.
you earn street cred, you learn, and it helps you through AI create dynamic learning paths and stuff like that, and gets you set up so you can skill up and grow and contribute to open source to get street cred and write articles to get street cred. And this is like the new LinkedIn. And I don't want to say, I don't want to put LinkedIn out of business here, but like
The
I think
new Stack Overflow.
Yeah.
but he created his name's Nilanjan, and Nilanjan created basically an AI agent that you can set up for your repos, your GitHub repos, and
Yeah.
it sits there and you can assign it tasks. And this has been kind of something that's been going around a little bit, but he was one of the first that I knew playing around with this and building it, and it works pretty well.
Wow.
He was first just focused on assigning it bugs and stuff like that, and it was creating nice pull requests and fixing the bugs and running the tests and all the stuff and autonomously taking care of that stuff. And now I think he's got it to where it's building new features and pull requests.
It reminds me of this. It reminds me of the biggest contributor to Wikipedia. It was a bot.
Yeah.
It was. It's the same kind of just a new age. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean,
But,
what
yeah.
Mark and Reason said, very soon bots are going to write our emails and bots are going to read our emails. So like, we're just going to have bots talking to bots, we'll say to the bot, give me a summary.
I don't know if you were following the chat yesterday in Martech Day. I made a joke about AI agents being able to read through RFPs and actually make a decision based on all the information that it has through MCPs into systems. Is this a good match or not? And then I'm thinking, what if you take it one step further? You just connect the vendor's system agent, and you talks to your Stack agent. They talk to each other, say, "Hey, can we do business together?"
It's actually already happened in the hiring space because
come on, Sav, really?
The candidates are all using AI to write the resumes, and
Yeah?
the recruiters
Of
are
course.
using AI to screen the resumes. So it's already happened. Actually, it's wild.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Wow, where are
It's
we going,
insane.
guys?
I mean, and this is why I say that the differentiation is the key now, right? If everybody's using all the same tools and all these LLMs are responding the same way, then how am I going to stand out? And that's where the magic is going to come.
There's always room for innovation, right?
Oh, yeah,
So like
for sure.
technology doesn't supplant innovation. So that's,
No.
we have to.
If it's one place where, in my opinion, where AI falls short, it's as the response that you're getting back, it's innovation, because it's only doing responding and of course maybe building, but based on what's already been generated by humans.
And that's the thing, right? It's pattern
that's my
matching.
theory, at least. I don't want to sound like I'm scholastic.
My favorite quote so far has been that I wanted AI to do my laundry and my crappy work so that I could do creative work and think, and not the opposite. I don't want AI to do my creative work and think, so I have to go do laundry and dishes. And that's just where we are right now.
Priority.
Yeah, talking about dishes, I need to go do them here in a bit, but no. No, but seriously, I mean, it's great to see Tealium taking an active role around MCPs. And what I kind of wanted to kind of slowly moving to the end here, what I really wanted to highlight is something that I've mentioned once before during this call already, is my appreciation to Tealium and you guys in acknowledging that we're still in the infant stages. Nobody knows how to run yet, and it's a joint effort to move this forward. The innovation from humans like you guys to build out this kind of technology, to be able to open it up to new possibilities. So from me, and I'll hand the floor back to you guys, because I just want to get a few last words from you guys. But before we head off, thank you very much for doing this and opening this up into our ecosystem, and taking the time today to discuss it and quickly show it what you guys, what are the really minimal possibilities are at the moment. But that's just because you're trying to build something here. But I mean, possibilities are endless.
Yeah, Matthew, thank you. You reached out when we put out the LinkedIn post about MCP. I think it was BJ's post. And just from the first time we met you, I feel like you're a fellow nerd. You care about these things the way we care about them. We don't know where these things are going to go, but we understand that we can play a role in supporting it, in experimenting and fueling innovation. But honestly, I couldn't tell you what next year's going to look like right now. I have no idea, right? And I think with BJ at the helm of our AI team, I feel very motivated that we are asking that question of whether we should do something. The point that you made earlier, AI is very dangerous. Like, I could just spend my whole day researching stuff if I wanted to, but choosing where to spend our energy, what to build, I think that becomes key. And that's what we are enjoying these days. I don't know, BJ, I don't want to speak for you.
Yeah. I got to get back to that product strategy stuff. I've been having too much fun thinking. No, it's been a delight, Matthew, to talk to you, and thanks for reaching out. We love to teach what we know at Tealium, and I certainly have made that part of my life in coaching folks, and in the past, and now in the present. But we'll keep doing it. We're trying to ramp up more learning for our customers and prospects, where maybe they're trying to endeavor for the first time. In this case, in the AI world, but also in the data world, and trying to wrangle their customer data to make sense of it and make use of it. And we're really pretty good at that. We do that every day, and we have a really cool product that helps our customers do that well. So,
and just that you mentioned that customers are already coming to you. You are learning from your customers. Customers are learning from you. I mean, this is a fantastic time to be working in this industry, and having this kind of open arm approach into this. I don't know, this unknown that we're walking into, where you guys are demonstrating. My hat's off to you guys. Thanks again for your time today. And I'll definitely be keeping a close eye on how this develops in the future. And like Sam said, who knows where we'll be in a year. But my guess is, well, the three of us will reconvene here, but all as bots, and we can watch the show after it's been recorded, edited, and published.
I'll have my bot talk to your bot.
Yeah,
we'll work it out. That's a great punchline there.
Yeah.
See you later,
Thank you,
guys.
Matthew. Thank you.
We'll see you.
Bye.